How do we classify numbers? Let's find out. Hello everyone, and welcome to the mythical world of math. My name is Zach, and today we're going to be talking about how to classify numbers and why it's important. So, let's get to it. Math is often described as the language of the universe. If we're going to speak that language, we need a vocabulary. Oftentimes, the definitions of other mathematical concepts only apply to certain types of numbers. Occasionally, solutions to a particular equation will only be a particular type of number. Because of this, we need a system that can classify numbers. To get started, we can break numbers down into two categories, real and imaginary. Real numbers are all the numbers that exist in the real world, or what we can see in our surroundings. Example, you can see 3 leaves, or you can buy 5 apples. You can owe, $13,000. All those are examples of real numbers. The other type of number is called an imaginary number. Now, for the purposes of this video, we're not going to focus on imaginary numbers. We're going to focus on real numbers. So, as you can see here, the smallest category of real numbers are what are called natural numbers, or what is commonly referred to as counting numbers. These are numbers that you can quite honestly count on your hand. You can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Now, if we take that a step further out, we come into the category called whole numbers. Now, the only difference between whole numbers and natural numbers is the number 0. So what that means is that all natural numbers are also whole numbers, but not all whole numbers are natural numbers because of the number 0. 0 is a whole number, but it is not a natural number. If we take this even a step further out, we get the classification called integers. Now, integers are just like whole numbers, except that they also include all the negative numbers. Okay? So as an example, -5 is an integer, but it is not a whole number. Outside of integers, there's actually 2 classifications of numbers, because integers only are the whole numbers, positives and negatives. Where does that leave decimals and fractions? Okay, so we have 2 categories for decimals and fractions. We call those rational and irrational. All right. Now, all integers are rational numbers. All right. Rational numbers are numbers that can be written as the quotient of 2 integers. All right. That's why all integers are rationals, because rationals are made up of integers. All right. So numbers like 1/4 or numbers like 2/3, those are rational numbers because I wrote it as the quotient of the numbers 1 and 4 or the numbers 2 and 3. All right. Now, what about decimals? Well, some decimals are also rational numbers. Decimals that either repeat or terminate, meaning that they have a stopping point, are rational numbers. Numbers like 0.11111 repeating, that's a rational number. Or the number 0.25. That's rational because that's also the same as 1/4. Outside of rational numbers, there's a second category of irrational numbers. Now, irrational numbers are numbers that cannot be written as the quotient of 2 other numbers. Okay, they cannot be written as a fraction. Something like the square root of 2 is an irrational number. All right, because it's a decimal that doesn't repeat and it never ends. Pi is also an irrational number, 3.1415, and so on. It just continues on forever, never repeating and never terminating. Because of that, it gets the classification of irrational. To summarize, numbers can have more than one type of classification. If we take the number 17, for example, 17 is a natural number because you can count to 17. Well, because it's in the natural category, that means it's also in the whole number category. And if it's in the whole number category, it means it's in the integers category, which also means it's a rational number, which also means it's a real number. I hope this video helped you better understand the classifications of numbers. If it helped you, please be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.